The first thing I did in my new life was tear up my acceptance letter to Harvard. Then, I rejected the dramatic confessions of the two girls I grew up with. In my past life, I chose one of them, Anna Vance. She ditched me at the altar for Leo Kane, and the shock killed my grandma. The only family I had left, in my despair, the other girl, Chloe Sterling, took my hand and said, "You still have me, I'll never let you down." She helped me through the darkness, but our marriage was cold and distant. I thought she was heartbroken that we couldn't have children. It wasn't until a car crash that I saw the truth. She ignored me as I lay dying and rushed to help Leo, who only had a few scratches. As my soul drifted away from my wrecked body, I finally understood. My entire life had been nothing but a love game for the three of them. They had already written their wills, leaving everything to Leo. The reason we never had children was that they had bribed a doctor to give me a vasectomy, a twisted proof of their loyalty to him. Given a second chance, I decided to cut them all out of my life and finally live for myself. Seeing me shred the Harvard letter, my guidance counselor was horrified. "Noah, what are you doing?" 4 students from our high school got into Harvard this year, but I was the only one who did it with a perfect score, the top in the city. It wasn't just my counselor, all the teachers had high hopes for me. I remained calm. "I've changed my mind about Harvard. I've accepted a spot in a specialized research group at MIT. They've promised to provide dedicated medical staff to look after my grandma." "Oh, I see," she said, her expression softening. "Well, I know your family situation is unique. Keep working hard, build a great future for yourself, and repay your grandma for everything she has done for you." I nodded. Before I could even process the grief from my past life, my phone buzzed with urgent iMessages from Anna and Chloe, telling me to come downstairs. On my way, I noticed people pointing and whispering. Someone even tripped me on the stairs, muttering "scumbag" under their breath. Confused, I picked myself up and limped on. As I rounded the corner, I overheard Leo talking to Anna and Chloe. "Look, I only saw Noah getting out of a Harvard trustee's car late at night," Leo said, feigning innocence. "It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Maybe he really did get in on his own merit." "Leo, stop defending him," Chloe snapped. "He won't even post his scores. He is obviously hiding something." "Exactly, Leo. You're just too kind. That is why he always takes advantage of you," Anna added. "A manipulative guy like that, you never know what he is capable of." After joining the research group, I had signed a non-disclosure agreement, which meant my academic records were sealed. I never imagined Leo would use that as ammunition for his smear campaign. And the 2 girls I had known my whole life, who knew how hard I studied to take care of my grandma, chose to believe him without a second thought. I let out a bitter laugh, telling myself it didn't matter. Once I was officially enrolled, all my personal information would be classified. I could finally cut ties with them completely, escape their lies and deceit, and avoid the miserable death that awaited me. Pretending I hadn't heard a thing, I walked up to them. "You were looking for me." Anna's disdain vanished, replaced by a bright smile. "Noah, this is great. We can all be at the same school again. All your hard work finally paid off." Chloe smiled too. "We get to stay by your side, but 4 years isn't enough. It has to be for life." A few guys walking by looked at me with envy, but I felt nothing. In my past life, the 4 of us attended the same university. I worked tirelessly, joining every club and activity to secure a good future. But in the end, my scholarships and my graduate fellowship were secretly redirected to Leo. Rumors spread that I was sleeping with the faculty. I was ostracized and bullied for 4 years. Back then, Anna and Chloe swore they would always stand by me and protect me. Only after my death did I learn they were the ones who started it all. On all those sleepless nights I spent crying, they were using my pain to entertain the man they truly loved. Seeing my silence, Leo spoke up, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "You're so lucky, man, born into the wealthy Carter family with 2 amazing girls devoted to you. I'm not so fortunate. If it weren't for your financial help, I would have dropped out of school long ago." At his words, both girls melted with pity. "Don't say that, Leo," Anna said. "You're handsome and brilliant. You have a great future ahead of you. After graduation, I'll have my dad make you a general manager." "Forget that. Come to my family's company," Chloe interjected. "I'll give you a higher position and a better salary. Anything you want, it is yours." They started bickering, trying to one-up each other for Leo's affection. A wave of sadness washed over me. In all the years I'd known them, they had never offered me such promises, such devotion. It was clear that feigned affection could never compare to genuine love. As I turned to leave, Anna noticed my expression and grabbed my arm, a hint of guilt in her eyes. Noah, don't get the wrong idea. We're only nice to Leo because he is your friend. Chloe ruffled my hair like she used to when we were kids. Don't overthink it. Exams are over. Let's go for a drive. We got you a present. I nodded, not refusing. I was leaving soon anyway. I wanted one last look at the city where I grew up. In the parking garage, Anna and Chloe both scrambled to offer Leo the passenger seat of their cars. Leo looked at me, pretending to be conflicted. But isn't that seat always reserved for Noah? He might get upset if I take it. Anna quickly pushed Leo into her passenger seat. He is not worthy of it. Besides, he is the most easygoing guy I know. Chloe shot Anna a glare, then slammed her car door shut in frustration. It wasn't until they were about to drive off that they realized I wasn't in either car. They rolled down their windows, looking at each other awkwardly, unable to find an excuse. It is fine, I said. I'll just take my own car. Hearing this, they both visibly relaxed, though they seemed puzzled by my unusually detached behavior. I rolled up my window, unwilling to listen to any more of their empty words. But the familiar scenery on the drive stirred up a flood of memories. The three of us grew up together. Our families had always joked about which one I would marry into. But then my parents died in an accident, and the great Carter family was reduced to just me and my grandma. We struggled to hold on to our crumbling legacy. Surrounded by vultures, I studied relentlessly, hoping to one day take over the family business. Leo came from a poor background and was an outcast at school. When I learned he was also an orphan, I felt a kinship with him. I befriended him, paid for his schooling, and encouraged him to persevere through the hard times with me. I never thought he would see my kindness as charity, that he would become jealous of everything I had. He used every trick in the book to charm Anna and Chloe, and together they destroyed my life. Lost in thought, I arrived at our destination, still feeling uneasy about what happened in the garage. Both girls rushed over to open my door and take my bag. Noah, look, Anna said, gesturing around. This is the park we always came to as kids. Chloe and I bought it. From now on, it is our own private secret hideout. Chloe nodded. I've already arranged for someone to plant your favorite yellow roses here. By this time next year, it'll be a beautiful sea of flowers. The four of us can come here to drive and watch the stars. Their faces were filled with dreams of the future, but I just stared at the land in silence. This was indeed our secret spot as kids, a place full of happy memories. But I never liked yellow roses. I'm allergic to all pollen. As I was lost in thought, fireworks exploded overhead, spelling out my name in brilliant colors against this dreamlike backdrop. Anna pulled out a ring box and opened it in front of me. Noah, this is my family's signet ring. My parents told me to give it to the future head of the Vance family. I've wanted to give it to you for so long, and today is finally the day. Noah, will you be with me? Wait. Chloe interrupted, stepping forward. Did you forget? When you nearly drowned as a kid, I was the one who saved you without a second thought for my own life. I would give my life for you, let alone some silly ring. In my past life, I was fooled by their heartfelt performances. I naively believed that our childhood bond would lead to a happy ending, that my grandma and the Carter family would finally have some stability. It wasn't until the day I died that I realized even deep affection could be an act. Just as I was about to refuse, Leo suddenly spoke up. Noah, why did you tell people I was spreading nasty rumors about you? Now everyone is attacking me online. He held his phone up to my face. On the campus gossip blog, hundreds of comments called me shameless, an escort who slept his way into college. The few comments defending me were twisted by Leo into evidence that I was attacking him. Chloe snatched the phone, her face contorted with rage. Noah, how could you do this? It is bad enough that you're so promiscuous, but why drag Leo into it? Anna, ever the more composed one, wasn't as explosive, but her eyes questioned me all the same. I suppressed the turmoil inside me. I didn't do it. If you don't believe me, you can investigate it yourselves. Neither of them listened. They were too busy comforting Leo. Don't worry, I'll call our PR team to handle this right away. Dessert always helps. I'll take you for some ice cream. They flanked him, one on each side, and walked away without a single glance back at me. I took a deep breath, watching the last embers of the fireworks fade to ash, compared to life and death. What was this small humiliation? At least I was still alive. I had a new life and a future ahead of me. I went to get my car, but then I remembered Chloe had my bag with the keys. I had no choice but to follow them. As I passed a grove of trees, I heard Chloe's impatient voice. Leo, baby, how much longer do we have to keep up this act? I can't stand it anymore. Who knows what kind of diseases that sleazeball Noah has picked up. Noah is so pathetically stupid. Anna's voice dripped with contempt. He can't even tell a real antique from a fake. No wonder some old cougar could talk him into bed. How could someone like that ever be fit to lead the Vance family? Leo, the real family ring is meant only for you. Leo's voice was a soft, pitiful murmur. But Noah has done so much for me. I can't just abandon him. If you don't do what I say, I'll just have to stop seeing you both. Hearing this, the two proud, powerful heiresses immediately started apologizing, practically tripping over themselves to praise him at my expense. Decades of friendship meant less than a few words from Leo. I fought back tears and turned away, walking home through the endless night, weighed down by exhaustion. By the time I got there, my sprained ankle was swollen to twice its size. Grandma's face creased with worry, and she immediately got out the heating liniment to massage my ankle. I didn't want her to worry, so I told her about my acceptance to the MIT program. She was overjoyed. My Noah is so brilliant. Grandma is getting old. You're the only one who can carry the Carter family forward now. I nodded, my eyes welling with tears. It has been so long since we had good news. I'm going to throw a huge party to celebrate. Her smiling face was identical to the one I remembered from my wedding day in my past life. Back then, she thought I had found true love and was full of joy. But because Anna left me at the altar, the shock killed her right there at the ceremony. This time, I would not let myself or my grandma suffer the same fate. With Grandma being older, I took charge of all the party arrangements. When Anna and Chloe heard the news, they both came over to help, bringing my favorite strawberry cake as a peace offering. Noah, you haven't been answering our messages. Are you still upset about the other day? We didn't mean to blame you. We were just worried you were going down the wrong path. You know, for people like us, reputation is everything. I didn't forgive them, but I allowed them to stay and help. They owed me too much from my past life. The score could never be settled. So I just wanted to never see them again in this one. After my parents' death, the Carter family had fallen on hard times, and our home was always empty. Now, with my success, it was a message to everyone that the Carters had an heir, that we were no longer a family to be trifled with. That is why Grandma was taking this party so seriously, meticulously planning every detail. On the day of the party, Boston's elite filled our home. Leo arrived in a custom-tailored suit, flanked by Anna and Chloe. He looked around the lavishly decorated hall, his eyes burning with jealousy. Noah's so lucky, he muttered to himself. But so what if you were born rich and you're a genius? I'll still find a way to make your life a living hell. As if on cue, the large screen in the hall flickered to life, displaying a slideshow of photos of me, all of them doctored nudes of me in bed with different women. Isn't that the Carter heir? He really gets around. What do you expect from a kid with no parents to guide him? No wonder they say he slept his way into college. Looks like it is true. The Carter family is finished. They've resorted to letting their son be an escort. I had lived through this kind of public humiliation twice before. Once at my wedding, when Anna's desertion killed my grandma and made the Carter name a citywide joke. The second time was at my funeral, where Chloe proposed to Leo before my body was even in the ground, turning my entire life into a farce. The memories flooded back, and I quickly looked for my grandma. She was gasping for air, her eyes wide and red as she stared at the screen. My Noah would never do something like this. Seeing her condition, my heart dropped. I begged the people around me to help me get her to a hospital, but they all backed away, afraid to be associated with me. Finally, Anna and Chloe stepped out from the crowd. Anna drove while Chloe and I helped Grandma into the car and rushed to the hospital. You got here just in time. Any later and she might not have made it, the doctor said. I thanked him profusely and then sat by Grandma's bedside, immediately pulling up the security footage from the party. Sure enough, I found Leo in the footage. He had swapped the photo slideshow. All the pictures were fakes, crudely photoshopped. I was about to take the evidence to the police when Anna and Chloe blocked my path. It was just a prank. Noah, do you really have to blow it out of proportion? Chloe demanded. Do you have any idea what this will do to Leo's future? I stood there, stunned, then exploded with a rage I could no longer contain. What about me? My grandma almost died. Wasn't he afraid of destroying me, of destroying the entire Carter family? Chloe shoved me back, shielding Leo behind her. Will you give it a rest? Your grandma is fine, isn't she? Besides, where there is smoke, there is fire. You must have done something shady to make people talk like that. Their words couldn't hurt me anymore. I numbly pushed past them, but Anna grabbed my wrist, her expression dark. "Noah, don't be stupid. You know the power our families have. No lawyer in this city will take your case." Seeing I still wouldn't back down, Anna's grip tightened. "And don't forget, your grandma is still in the hospital. I can have the doctors stop her treatment with a single phone call. I'll count to 3. If you don't give me that security footage, I'll have them pull the plug." She dialed a number right in front of me. 3, 2. "I'm sorry." I dropped to my knees, tears streaming down my face. I was wrong. I couldn't risk my grandma's life. Chloe snatched my phone and smashed it on the ground. Shards of the screen flew up, cutting my skin. She stared at me coldly. "As long as we're around, you will never lay a hand on Leo." I collapsed onto the floor, the pain finally hitting me as their figures disappeared down the hall. The accumulated grief of 2 lifetimes erupted, and I sobbed, my body shaking uncontrollably. The promises of our youth were fake. Our childhood bond was fake. Only the pain was real. I don't know how long I stayed there before I managed to drag myself, like a zombie, back to the hospital. I was terrified that Anna and Chloe would try something, so I didn't leave Grandma's side for days. During that time, the only messages I received were from Leo, sending me pictures of him, Anna, and Chloe on vacation. Bungee jumping, doing all the things we had once planned to do together. I blocked his number. When I looked up, 2 women in professional attire were standing by Grandma's bed. They gave me a respectful nod. "Mr. Carter, we're the medical staff assigned by the program. Please rest assured, while you are away, we will ensure your grandmother's health and safety." It was only then that I realized it was time to leave. I went back to the Carter house, threw away everything that reminded me of Anna and Chloe, and got on a plane without looking back. They were not my support system. I had to rely on myself to build a better future for my grandma and for the Carter name. After their trip, with the start of the semester approaching, Anna and Chloe, despite all the fun they'd had, felt a nagging unease. What they did with Leo's prank had gone too far. Noah was already in a tough spot, losing his parents at such a young age with only his frail, elderly grandmother. If he'd gone astray, it wasn't entirely his fault. They were his childhood friends, practically family. As the older ones, they should have guided him. With that in mind, they bought bags full of gifts for him on their way home. They went to the hospital with all sorts of health supplements to visit Grandma Carter, but were stopped at the door. "Mrs. Carter's status is confidential. Unauthorized personnel are not permitted to disturb her." Unauthorized personnel, those 2 words stung Anna and Chloe. They had grown up with Noah closer than family. How could they be dismissed so easily? Chloe rolled up her sleeves, ready for a fight, but Anna stopped her with a frown. As the Vance family heiress, she sensed that the people guarding the door were not ordinary security. "Where is Noah? Get him out here. Let him tell you whether we're unauthorized or not." In response to Anna's demand, the guard replied with a cold, flat, "No comment." Humiliated, they were forced to leave. Chloe cursed under her breath. "Noah's ego is getting out of control. I don't know where he picked up these bad habits. I swear, it is because we've always been too good to him, spoiled him rotten." "Let's just go check his house," Anna said. She had a bad feeling, a sudden emptiness in her chest, like a piece of her was missing. They drove to the Carter estate. It was dark and empty. Not a soul in sight. Now even the perpetually angry Chloe started to feel anxious. Just like when they were kids, they hopped the fence. They knew the way to Noah's room by heart, but when they got there, they found it completely bare. The once cozy room was empty, save for a thin layer of dust. How can this be? Where did Noah go? Anna stared at the scene in disbelief. "Where are all the things I gave him? He used to treasure them." "My gifts are gone too," Chloe added, her voice trembling. "And our photos, our travel journals, they're all gone." They looked at each other, and the feeling of unease turned into a full-blown panic that consumed them. Where could he have gone? The Carter family is a shadow of its former self. No one would dare take him in. He must be throwing a tantrum and hiding somewhere. When I find him, I'm going to teach him a lesson. The Carters are broke. What right does he have to act like a spoiled brat with us? They started calling all their mutual friends, asking about Noah's whereabouts, then sent their family's security teams to search for him. They turned the entire city upside down but found nothing. His ID, his bank cards, all his information had gone inactive. The one person who knew where he was, his grandmother, was inaccessible to them. Noah, the boy who had always been there, who would never leave no matter what, had vanished completely. It was as if he had dissolved into thin air, leaving no trace behind. A profound sense of fear and loss gripped Anna and Chloe. They even lost interest in Leo's invitations to hang out. Where did Noah go? Is he angry with us? Will he ever forgive us? The silent room offered no answers. The handsome, brilliant boy was gone, and he wasn't coming back. After the flight, there was a long drive in a private car. After a grueling journey, I finally arrived. My new professor welcomed me warmly. The great Noah Carter. We were starting to think we'd never get you. When we heard you'd applied to Harvard, our hearts sank. A talent like yours, we couldn't let you get away. Thank you, Professor. I promise I'll work hard and won't disappoint you, I said with a bow. Your resume says you've been interested in this field of research since you were very young. Why did you apply to Harvard in the first place? I didn't know how to answer that. Harvard was Anna and Chloe's dream. We had grown up together, inseparable from the time we learned to talk. After all those years, I couldn't bear the thought of being apart from them, so we made a pact to go to the same university and stay together forever. Then Leo came along and took my place. Anna and Chloe used their family connections to get in as legacy admissions, and they spent a fortune to make sure Leo got in too. The irony was that the three who had bought their way in turned around and accused me of sleeping my way to the top. A self-deprecating smile touched my lips. I was young and naive back then. I trusted the wrong people and went down the wrong path. Now that I have a second chance, I won't make the same mistake. Fate has given me a do-over, and I will make something of myself. I will not waste this life. The professor clapped me on the shoulder, his face full of approval. Good, that is very good. I was a bit worried that a young man like you, coming from such a privileged background, wouldn't be able to handle the demanding work here. But seeing you now, I have no doubts. The future belongs to your generation. No hardship could be worse than what I endured in my past life. At least now, my grandma is alive and well, and I haven't wasted my life on two people who weren't worth it. In the following months, I shut out the world and poured all my energy into my studies. One day, as I was leaving the lab, I ran straight into Anna and Chloe. I rubbed my eyes thinking it was a hallucination from all the late nights. But then they called my name, their voices sharp and clear. My lab partner whispered to me, "Noah, you don't want to mess with those two. I heard they donated $20 million to the lab just to get a visitor's pass." Seeing us talking, Chloe stormed over and pulled me away. "Can't you keep it in your pants for 1 second? You're always hitting on someone no matter where you are. If you're that desperate to get married, you can just have me." My lab partner tried to defend me, but I knew Chloe's temper. I signaled for her to leave before she got caught in the crossfire. Anna, retaining a sliver of composure, looked at me with a complicated expression. "Noah, why did you leave without saying goodbye? Why did you change your university choice? Why did you throw away everything we gave you? Why did you leave me?" The barrage of questions made my head ache. I rubbed my temples, my voice sharp. "Anna, what right do you have to question me? Who are you to me?" Her hand hovered in the air, unable to finish the sentence. In this life, I hadn't accepted her confession. I wasn't head over heels in love with her. In my heart, she was nothing, and the pitiful remnants of our childhood friendship had been eroded by their constant betrayals. Chloe, who had always been so arrogant, finally lowered her proud head. "Noah, we were wrong about what happened, but you didn't have to be so cruel. Do you have any idea how long we've been looking for you? They told me that after I left. They went nearly insane with worry. As a last resort, they knelt before my grandma, begging to know where I had gone. My grandma, with her kind heart, had watched them grow up and couldn't bear to see them in such a state. She told them about my choice. This time, I hadn't chosen either of them. I had chosen a new life, so they followed me here, pulling every string, calling in every favor, spending millions, all for the chance to see me again. But my heart remained unmoved. I pulled out my phone and played a recording of the conversation they had about Leo on the day they confessed to me. Then I looked at them, my face a blank mask. "Stop acting. The game is over. If you love Leo, then go be with him. Don't use my life as a prop to stage your grand love story. I have my own life to live. I hope you won't bother me again." At my words, the two of them, who had been so aggressive just moments before, turned deathly pale. They stood there, speechless. As the recording played on a loop, Chloe lunged for my phone again, but I stepped back, my eyes cold. "This is a research facility. There is security. You can't smash my phone and destroy the evidence this time, and you can't threaten me with my grandma anymore." The mention of my grandma sent a sharp, indescribable pain through my chest. She had been so good to them, treating them like her own granddaughters. Iced tea in the summer, hand-knitted scarves in the winter. Every snack, every gift, she always prepared 3 sets, and what did they do? When I was at my most vulnerable, my most helpless, they used her life to threaten me. I could never forgive that. I would never forgive that. A flicker of pain crossed Anna's stoic face. Noah, it is not what you think. I was just trying to scare you that day. Your grandma is like family to us, too. I would never have actually hurt her. Yeah, Noah, don't you remember? Chloe pleaded, her voice desperate. We were the ones who helped you get her to the hospital. I gave a cold laugh. That is the only reason I'm not pressing charges, but my patience has its limits. Anna, Chloe, I'm not the same helpless orphan you used to push around. I won't let anyone hurt me or my grandma ever again. I have a long road ahead of me, and I don't have the time or energy to get tangled up with people who aren't worth it. They tried to say more, but the facility's security guards stepped in. Excuse me, your visiting hours are over. Please leave so as not to disturb our work. Reluctantly, they had to go. As they were leaving, Anna turned back to look at me. Noah, we grew up together. I don't believe you can be this heartless, that you can forget everything we shared. We know we did some things wrong, but we'll prove to you that our feelings for you have never changed. Chloe nodded vigorously. One day, you'll forgive us. Hearing those words now, I could only find them laughable. Past life, present life, their script never changed. They used our shared history to fool me back then, tricking me into marrying them. Tricking me into a lonely, wasted life. I don't understand. I was the one who grew up with them. Why did they refuse to believe me, yet hurt me so deeply for Leo, someone they had only known for a short time? I don't understand. If they both loved Leo, why were they now standing in front of me, pretending to be deeply in love with me? I didn't know if their words were genuine or just another lie for Leo's sake. All I knew was that my future had nothing to do with them. I never wanted to see them again, but I had underestimated their persistence. Over the next few weeks, the food at the research center improved dramatically. From morning till night, the cafeteria served all my favorite dishes. A fresh strawberry cake was delivered every day at noon, enough for everyone from the department heads to the cleaning staff. My lab partner couldn't help but comment, Noah, are they trying to win you over? This is some serious money they're throwing around. Are you envious? I asked. What is there to be envious about? Anyone who chooses this path doesn't care about material things. She was right. I was no longer the boy who could be won over with a piece of cake and a sweet word. I had a bright future, a wonderful life ahead of me. Anna and Chloe were just a minor footnote in my long story. But the more I ignored them, the more they persisted. A constant stream of gifts arrived, causing a huge disruption. In the end, my professor had to personally intervene to put a stop to the ridiculous spectacle. I enjoyed a period of peace after that, but when I went home for the holidays, I couldn't avoid them. When I saw them this time, they both looked worn out. The powerful heiress and the rebellious rich girl were now pale and haggard, all their former confidence gone. I was helping my grandma take a walk in the garden when they showed up, with a sobbing Leo in tow. Noah, we need to talk to you, Anna said. I know you don't want to see us, but this is the last time. If we don't say this, we'll never be at peace. I wanted to ignore them, but my grandma patted my hand. Go on, you can't run from things forever. No matter what happens, you need closure. Reluctantly, I led the 3 of them into the living room. The moment they stepped inside, Anna and Chloe dropped to their knees. Their faces etched with a sorrow so deep it seemed to shroud them in misery. Noah, one night after you left, we both had the same dream. In the dream, we did terrible things to you, one after another. It was so real, it felt like a memory. We suddenly understood why you left, why you were so cold to us. I said nothing. The 2 of them were already weeping, and beside them, Leo suddenly rushed toward me, wailing, Noah, please, help me talk to them. I never wanted to ruin your relationship. I didn't do anything. I just genuinely admire them, and I wanted to repay your kindness. Shut up! Chloe yanked Leo back and slapped him hard across the face. She was shaking with rage. You piece of trash. It was all you, wasn't it? You pitted us against Noah. We saw the diary you hid under your desk. You never liked us. You got close to us because you were jealous of Noah, and you wanted to use us to hurt him. From their frantic explanations, I finally learned the answers to questions that had haunted me for 2 lifetimes. Leo had used me to learn all of Anna and Chloe's likes and dislikes, then carefully molded himself into their perfect man. He played hot and cold, switching between being playful and pitiful, manipulating them like a cat playing with mice. Seeing that his act was up, Leo dropped the pretense. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at them, screaming hysterically. So what if I did it on purpose? Why should he be born with everything while I have to survive on his charity? I'm just as good-looking and talented as he is. Why were you both so devoted to him? I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't. I wanted to destroy him with my own hands. I wanted him to know that the love he was so proud of was just garbage I let him have. Chloe couldn't take it anymore and kicked him squarely in the chest. She'd always been a scrapper, and this time she was fighting to kill. Afraid they would stain the Carter house. I quickly stepped in. Enough. If you're going to fight, do it outside. Don't put on a show for me. Noah, I'm so sorry, Anna sobbed, looking at me with utter devastation. I was so stupid. He tricked me, and I forgot our past, forgot how good you are. They both looked at me broken and cried their hearts out. My feelings for you never changed. Anna mumbled through her tears. It is just, you were so smart, so perfect. I wasn't confident I could ever win you over, so I let myself believe his lies. They thought that by dragging me down into the mud with them, they could keep me by their side forever. But life doesn't work that way. I struggled, and I grew wings in that mud. And I flew far, far away. They couldn't hold me back, and they couldn't catch up to me. Leo was hospitalized, his face disfigured, and he was expelled from the university. Anna and Chloe also faced consequences from their families. I had my professor put pressure on the Vance and Sterling families, making it clear they were to never appear in my life again. They could bully the parentless Noah Carter, but they couldn't bully the resilient man I had become. The day I returned to the research center, the sun was shining. I didn't know what the future held for those three, and I didn't care. All I knew was that the road ahead of me was bright.